Hello and welcome to your Wellbeing RX. I'm Charlene, and in today's yoga session, we'll be focusing on improving your flexibility and mobility. This flow is really perfect for all levels, and it'll help you feel stronger and move with greater ease. So whether you're looking to release tight muscles, to increase your range of motion, or just to feel more freedom of movement, this practice is designed to leave you feeling strong, energized, and refreshed. So grab a mat. You'll have some options for blocks, a strap, and even a blanket if you like. And let's get started. Let's begin in a comfortable seated position. I have a blanket here just so that I can place it under my knees or place it under my hips for any part of this practice. You can sit with your feet out front, knees bent, legs straight. I'm going to choose to sit with my legs folded, nice and tall, rolling the shoulders back and down. And let's pay attention to the breath for just a moment. You can unfocus your gaze or close your eyes. Try placing your hands on your belly, just below your belly button. And as you bring your attention inward, notice your breathing. Notice if it's slow or fast, if it's deep or shallow. Start to expand the breath and even it out. We'll be using our breath to help facilitate deeper stretches, to really help us when we're moving through strength poses. Now the next time you exhale, go ahead and draw your abdominals in and up and feel through the center of your body strength as it kind of lifts, the breath lifts towards the throat, towards the heart. As you roll your shoulders back and down, just bring your hands to your heart. If your eyes are closed, you can open them up. Find equal weight on each sitting bone. And then we'll dive our hands forward. Open back. Feel the back body engage as the chest opens and the heart lifts. And then come to heart center. Try that again. Head is back, ear over shoulder, shoulder over hip. And the head is really lifted. The crown of the head is lifted. Now you can lift the fingertips up and then drive the wrists down gently. Come back to center and then just rotate through the wrists. Do that one more time. Up. So mobility, flexibility in the wrist and the hand. It's connected with shoulder and neck. Mobility. That's it. Now exhaling, strong engagement in your center. Rotate to the right, belly button, chest, gaze. So from the bottom up, from that strength of the base of your spine. And then come to center, and we'll rotate to the left. And instead of cranking on your back, release the legs and hips so there's no tension there. And you're using your muscles to stay lifted, long, and then to rotate. And we're just warming, so you're not pushing your boundaries too hard here. Let's come to center. And then from here, bring the feet together. We'll lift and lower a few times. So lift and lower. Notice if one knee goes higher than the other, if you need to release and relax a little bit more on one side. Hinge forward with a neutral spine. So lead with your heart. And just find a place where you are straddling the line. That line of, this is too easy and I feel this. Unclench. And then let's come back up. Bring the hands behind the back or next to the hips. Fingertips pointed out or back. And then we can bring the knees up and lift the heart. Feel the rib cage expand. Let's do that one more time into Baddha Konasana, that bound angle pose. opening the hips out, the knees, feel the groin, the inner thigh. Keep the heart lifted so your lower back feels fabulous with neutral spine. And then bring the feet up. And lift, adjusting your hands so your shoulders feel great. And then coming back to a seated position. Let's weight the right hand a bit. We're going to bend the elbow and push away. That's it. Now take the left hand up and over. And go ahead and lean over, lifting the elbow up to feel the whole side from the armpit to the hip. And then come back up and rotate a few times to the back. Notice how your shoulder feels right now and adjust. Lifting the elbow as much as you'd like. Then we'll come into the right hand. This is our second spine. It's supporting us as you keep the hand on the shoulder or you reach up and over. And then we'll release. Let's try that again on the other side. So come into, bring a little weight here, and then we'll reach up, lift, find length through the side of the body, and then rotate the elbow back. And notice, is the right side different? I'm mirroring you, so this is your right. And then let's reach up, straight up or over. And enjoy the rib cage expansion. So as you inhale into the ribs, exhale. Let's do one more on the left. And then we'll bring our hands back to center. And you can cross and touch the opposite shoulder here. So think of, we're going to do some thoracic rotations, some articulating rotations. So we'll bring, rounding the back, the shoulders forward, and then we'll draw a circle and rotate back. Pain-free range, you determine the depth of your rotation. But it should feel good. Let's do 3, one direction. Here's the third one. So you're focusing on your thoracic spine, that part of your spine where your ribs are attached, between your waist and your cervical spine. Let's go the other way 3 times. Use that belly lock action to support your lower back. We're not in your lower back right now. Let's do one more. But it's supporting you. That's it. Come back to bound angle. Lift, lower, and let's take a moment to hinge forward and just enjoy. Your hands can be on the floor, on your ankles, on your feet. Try not to round the lower back, so keep it long, even if that limits your forward fold. All right, come on back up. Bring the knees together, and you deserve a little hug for that work that we did. So round your back as long as it feels good with support, and then we'll come to hands and knees. And we get to do a few cat-cows as a reward. Not just a knee hug, but some cat-cows. Focus as you come to hands and knees. Of course, your wrists are stacked under your shoulders, knees under hips. There's a few inches between your knees. And then just start with the tailbone tuck under. So rounding and arching the lower back. So we'll segment this cat-cow a bit. Now you can articulate all the way up. So posterior pelvic tilt, round, so that pelvis, top of the pelvis moves back towards the ceiling. Round, open the shoulder blades and look at your belly button. And now lift your tailbone first. Gently arch the back, lift your heart so that your sternum is shining ahead and you're looking at the mat. Your elbows aren't locked, but they aren't bent a lot, and you're pressing into the thumb first finger and then the rest of the fingers like a starfish. Come to neutral and then just wag the tail side to side. and then shift into child's pose or puppy. Puppy is a little more elevated in the hips. Child's pose is hips come back over the heels. Extending the arms forward, we're going to get ready for some planks. So breathe into the side ribs. Find that strength through your core to support your lower back. And then we'll inhale and drive forward like a battering ram and find this beautiful, strong plank. And then we'll step or shift back, really. We're not stepping back. And then come forward. You can add a little push-up, a little chaturanga, big or small, up to you. Now, if you want this to be a little bit more challenging, you can always come onto the toes. You can leave the push-up out. So your child's pose will become downward facing dog, to plank or to push-up, grounded or elevated. Elbows in. Do one more flow of your choice, exhaling into downward facing dog or child's pose. Coming to plank, finding that beautiful strong plank with your shoulders back and down, and then come all the way to the mat. Aim your chest first to the mat. So without plopping, we're going to come down. And then shift into the hips. Bringing your hands next to your shoulders or even stepping them ahead a little bit. Center. Gently press your feet into the floor to get some engagement in your legs. And then let's lift into the supported cobra. So our hands aren't there to push us up. Hands are there to support us as we use our muscles. Think about the upper and mid back rather than dumping tension in the lower back. A nice, beautiful curve. So we're not placing tension in the lower back. One more. How are you feeling? How does your body feel as you push back up, oh so gracefully, back to hands and knees? Getting ready for downward facing dog. So I'm going to come forward. I'm going to crawl forward on my mat. And again, fingers are spread. It's almost like there's a sucker in the center of my hand, but I am actually activating the hand and pressing into the mat. Tucking the toes, inhaling, drop the shoulders, exhale, and then if you'd like, you can push into the feet, stretching through the bottoms of the feet, and then you can think about lifting the knees or lift the knees an inch or two off the mat. Breathe. Nice and strong. Let's push up all the way, hips high, to downward facing dog. Lifting the heels, and then pedal the heels one at a time. Your gaze can be at your thighs, at your belly. Lift both heels and then drop the heels. Shoulders away from the ears. Without leaning too much into your flexibility, bend your knees and lift your tailbone a little bit more to take tension out of your lower back. Then press your heels down, lift your tailbone, drop your shoulders, and feel strong in the upper back. Let's do that one more time. Bend your knees, and then press your heels down. And find the repose in this pose. Nod your head yes. There's no tension in our necks, and then a little no. Bend your knees more deeply. Let's take a walk, a step, or a hop ahead. Coming to a forward fold with very bent knees. So as you come to a forward fold with very bent knees, think about attaching your chest or your belly to your thighs as much as possible. Hands on your shins or on the floor. And we're going to come to forward fold from here. So this is a deep forward fold, and then we're going to straighten the legs more, lifting the tailbone, keeping the head, neck, jaw relaxed. Bend the knees into a deep bend, almost like a chair, and then forward fold. One more time. This time we get to come deep and release into chair. And then forward fold. Half forward fold, hands come up to the shins. Look ahead. Forward fold. Enjoy the length in the back of your body and then come all the way up. Hands to heart center. And find equal weight on both feet. So find the tripods of the feet, equal weight. Breathing easy. Let's reach the right elbow back and then the left. So you could just kind of play with your range of motion with the bend of the elbow or how long the arm is. Let's do one more as you backstroke, the yoga backstroke. And then inhale into chair. Hands at heart center, shoulder high or higher. So we're finding some strength and some length. Inhaling. Let's do two more. Inhale and exhale as you come up and sweep the arms. One more. Bringing the hands to the heart, lift the right heel or the foot and step back. Your blocks are very close by if you want to use them. You don't have to. Knees come up. I guess knee, individual right knee, not both knees. And then reach back. Let's get ready for warrior two. So I have a block close to the top of my mat. And I'm going to find length in this warrior two pose. So bending the knee and finding this nice long warrior two, almost drawing the heels together to find the inner thighs. Tuck the hips under gently. Look at your left big toe so that the knee is going neutral right over the ankle. Pressing through the back foot. Here we go. Length. Lift. Let's straighten the leg. And then come into this nice hip opener. Reach. Let's try one more. Then straighten the left leg without locking it. We'll reach ahead, gently hiking the right hip up, and then find support on the block or on your thigh. You get to choose. Turn, hip, belly, chest, gaze. And of course you can keep this right hand behind your back, or you can reach up to the sky. And let's rock these two poses together. Inhaling into warrior two. Shifting and revolving the belly to the sky. One more. And then let's go ahead and turn the back heel up and walk a step forward. So from here, we're going to work in the left hip. So think about keeping your left foot glued to the floor for the moment. And if you've got a block that's accessible, you can use it, or the wall. I'm going to use the wall a bit. Hips are neutral. I'm going to turn so you can see what's going on. So my hips are neutral. And as the toe touches the ground, I'm going to open out, almost like balancing half moon. We'll open the hip out, so we're really rotating the left hip. As we come back to neutral, we'll even drop past neutral and touch the left thigh with the right hand. So do you feel the external rotation in the left hip as we open out to a supported balancing half moon? Bend the knee, come to parallel, or revolve into internal rotation of the hip. Let's do one more. And you can use your block and elevate. So you can open out. So just some options. If the foot is up, bring it back down. I'm going to come back to my mat, and then let's lift and step ahead. You can draw a little circle with your right knee. Notice how your right side feels. We've been working a bit in the right, a little more in the left, and then come back to center. Now step to the center of your mat, the wide side of your mat. And let's take a narrower stance. We'll rotate the ankle, the hip, and kind of check in with the body as we come back to chair. Inhaling, exhaling. I'm going to bring my block with me as I come to the other side of the mat. One more. To the top side of your mat, or the bottom, however you want to think about it. Swan dive to forward fold. Feet are hip distance apart or a little bit wider. Bend your knees into a very deep, connected position. And then forward fold. You can use your hands on the block. You can even widen your stance to find a really nice open hip squat to a straighter leg lift. Let's do two more with wide or narrow stance. What do your hips feel like they need today? And then let's come back up to chair. This time you get the option for balancing chair if you'd like. It's just an option. And then drop the heels. Come all the way up, and let's lift the left heel. We'll lift the knee. How's balance on this side? Stepping back. Get ready for warrior two. Wider or more narrow, just make sure you can see your big toe. Enjoy the flow of your breathing right now. Your belly, your chest open to the wide side of the mat. So do you feel the hip opening here? Kind of pull the heels together and feel that internal lift, a big lift through center. Reach. That's it. Straightening the front leg without locking it. The left hip can kind of hike up a bit. Remember, you can use your block here. And explore triangle on this side. So it's almost like you are a pane of glass or a piece of toast, a slice of toast in the toaster. Find the best triangle for you. It's not always the deepest. Feel the transitions between these movements. Find that balance between strong and long, hard and soft. Excellent. Inhale and exhale. And then lift the back heel. Take a little step forward. And then get ready for that hip shift. We'll start in a grounded position. Remember, the right knee is slightly bent. You can use a countertop, a chair, or not, and open the hip out. So remember, if I turn to the corner, you might be able to see hips are parallel and centered, and then I'm rotating the right hip and opening out. And then I'll come back to center and even drop my left hip a little bit more so I get some internal rotation on my left hip, on my right hip. Left hip is opening. We have grounded and weighted the right side. Let's do it one more time thoughtfully. And you can use your block, if you'd like, to turn this into more of a balancing half moon to warrior three. So you can take that with your block. Remember, when using a block for balance, there's no weight on it. We'll open out to the side, and then we'll turn and rotate parallel or even dropping. Back to center. Let's step front and lift up high. Notice how you're feeling as you swan dive to forward fold, half forward fold, lifting your heart, lifting your tailbone, and bending your knees. Bend the knees again, and then step back to downward facing dog. If you'd like, you can bring that left knee to the chest and then reach up and out. Try it again. Now, it's just an option. Bring the foot down and bring the knees down. And we'll press back into child's pose. Take a little bit of weight off your wrists. The hands can come next to your hips, knees out. And then coming back to center. Let's extend the left leg into spinal balance. Bend the knee, open out, and then come back to neutral. Let's try it again. Open. You can continue with this hip opener, or you can just open up and out, touch the left foot back, and just reach up. We'll come back to center. That's it. So this is one option, extend. Or we're going to take this, instead of from hands and knees, we will take it from downward facing dog. So shift back, take a break for a moment. Puppy would be stacked fists, hips a little higher. All right, come to hands and knees. Tuck the toes, stretching out through the back of the sole of the foot. Sit up. Take a moment. It shouldn't hurt. You can untuck the toes, of course, especially if there's a challenge or you're taking care of your feet or your toes. But getting some length through the fascia and the connective tissue, even through the sole of the foot, can affect your range of motion up that posterior chain. All right. Now you choose hands and knees. We're going to open out that same way, or you can come to downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Extending that left leg, bending the knee, opening out, holding here, or bringing the left foot down and reaching up and out. Breathe. So which works best for you? Knees or from downward facing dog? Let's come back. We always have to come back. You can extend this left leg up again, or just drop it down. And then let's come to plank. Drop the knees and back to child's pose. Come on back up. I'm going to face you for a moment. Now remember, you can always have your knees supported by a blanket, if that feels better. Roll the shoulders and take a moment to feel range of motion in the shoulders. I'm going to come the other direction so we can do the other side. Make sure if you have a strap, it's close by. We're not going to use it right now. Tuck the toes under. And then press into the feet. Nice and strong. Now you can untuck the toes if you'd like. Come to spinal balance. Right leg extends to the back. Reach through the heel. Feel your glute work. Bend the knee. And then we'll open and close a few times. So we'll practice on this side too. You can have the blanket under your knees. Now this time let's open out, and we'll find this open hip reaching up and out. Find that rotation. Do you feel the left hip tuck under? Easy breath, shoulders back and down, no tension in the jaw. And then come back to center. Extend. And then take a moment at child's pose. This time, I'm going to have you open your knees and shift back. You can use your fists or a block under your forehead and just allow your lower back to release, breathing into your side ribs and back ribs. One more breath. All right, I'm going to put the block aside so it doesn't get in my way. And then bring the knees a few inches apart. Let's get ready for downward facing dog. Remember, you can stay at hands and knees and do exactly what we just did. Bringing the right knee to the chest and extending. Maybe one more time. Bend the knee, open out if you're choosing to come from downward facing dog, and then bring that foot, the right foot behind you as you extend and open out. Think about keeping your shoulder right over your wrist so you feel strong, whether you're at hands and knees or you've come from downward facing dog. All right, here we go. Let's flip this dog back to where it belongs. And then bring the right foot down. Bend your knees. Come all the way to the mat. And shift back. I'm going to use a block. You can use a blanket. I'm going to shift back, keeping my elbows on the block for a little bit of shoulder opening, range of motion. Again, it feels good, but challenging as we open the heart. If you don't like that elevated arms, slide the block away. All right. Take the hands off the block, push the block to the side, and then round like a wave, come back up to a plank. Now my shoulders are forward of my wrists here. I'm going to press into child's pose, extend my arms, and I'll round again one more time like a wave forward. And then center. Go ahead and shift your hips to the left. So shift your hips left, take the left hand on the outside of the right arm. Just enjoy this opening of your side body. Center, and let's do the other side. So shift your hips right. Take the right arm up and over. Try to unclench your muscles. Come back to center. And all the way back up to hands and knees. I'm going to take my strap. If you don't have one, that's okay too. You can put your blanket under your head. Because we're going to come to a position lying down on our backs. So from here, go ahead and touch the backs of your thighs and just round your back, draw your belly in. So it's this C-shaped spine. And then inhale, lift your heart and come back to neutral, pushing your feet down. Try that one more time. Round and lift. And then walking the hands back down. Right knee to chest. You can have your blanket under your head. You can draw that. I have my left knee in. You do what you want to do. I'll do what I want to do. Right for left, left for right. I'm rotating through the ankle. And then as we start to lengthen the leg, just know that if you want some extra support, you can place a strap at the ball of the foot and extend. You don't have to have a perfectly straight leg. Relax and unclench. Easy breath. And then bring the knee to center. You're going to take the strap off and set that, my right foot, hey, left foot, the other right foot. I'll get this. Let's bring the other knee into the chest. And if you want to stabilize with your hands on your thigh or your shins, or a big toe hold, or if you want a more relaxed way to just relax into this stretch, you can use the strap. Slide your elbows down to the floor and unclench. So we're not trying to pull this leg as close as we can. We're trying to relax the hamstring. There's more than one. All right, release knee to chest. I'm going to put this strap to the side as I open my stance and just rotate, windshield wipe the knees side to side. So we're getting through the hip flexors and we're working on rotation. Now go ahead, bring the feet a little closer together, closer to the body maybe, untuck your lower back and shift onto, I'm going to come onto my left side for a moment, supporting my head, and then just like a goalpost, or you can straighten the arm or keep it next to your head, I will open out. You can put a block, a blanket behind your elbow, but think about getting your shoulder blade onto the floor. Breathe easy and release into the floor. Relax your shoulders, your jaw. Your gaze is at the ceiling or over that right hand or elbow. Slowly come back up to center. We'll realign, so lift your hips and center. And then we'll rock onto the right hip and come all the way onto your side. You can come to goalpost. You can have your hand on the back of your head as you open out. And now with all the work that we've done with mobility in the spine, just find a release here. And you can place your blanket underneath your arm if it doesn't quite get to the floor. You can place a block between your knees if the top knee is lifting up off of the other. Come back to center. And we'll just take a few breaths here. Knees bent or legs extended. I'm going to take a big reach overhead, flexing my ankles, dorsiflexing, and then pointing the toes. And then bending the knees again, hands on the belly. You can open your knees and tent them in. Just get comfortable, lengthening the back of the neck. Spending as much time as you need here, taking as many breaths as you'd like to find that calm, that long body. Do you feel energized? Did you feel the tension melt away from your shoulders, neck, jaw, hips, legs. Slow breathing. Now you can continue here or come onto your side, using the top hand to help push you back up to your favorite seated position. I'm going to find my favorite seated position. Taking a few breaths, lengthening the spine. Thank you for doing yoga with me today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're feeling more flexible, mobile, and ready to move with ease. If you found this practice helpful, be sure to like, to comment, and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow. So until next time, stay strong, keep moving, and enjoy your yoga flow.